Anyone hear me? Anyone hear me? Hello? Oh, I just want to make sure. Is my mic working? Yeah. Do my mic work well? Everything sound good? I hope. This shit up. Alright. Okay, I'm just gonna go on, and if my shit sounds bad, just let me know. This is gonna be, a hero ranking. Oh shit, I forgot. I gotta need to add a new for Frontiers and Origins, the shitty hero stat buff useless fucking kills. Okay, yeah, that'll do it. That's just for when we get to Frontiers and Origins. I'll make this like shit brown, but I'll make it shit gray. It's the color of gray shit. Just to make sure it's good. Okay, let's start. I don't know what. Okay, I don't know why, but for Frontiers down, it goes alphabetical order, so I'm just not gonna deal with that. But first, there's Gerald's courage, wherever the fuck this shit is. Um, I don't. The skill isn't bad, It definitely helped out, for like. But I just think it's not really useful. It's not bad. Like early game, it's good for like reinforcements or your barracks, but like late game, it just adds nothing. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna put it in D tier for now. See how it goes. Um, okay. For that's when I like get things like S tier is like carries the hero or like is mega OP. Then we have A. It's a pretty great skill. B tier, it's all right skill. C tier is eh. It could be better, but it's not bad. D is like it's not really useful, but it's not useless. And then F is pretty much useless. So yeah, so I'm gonna put D tier there. Gerald's shield retribution. I don't know. I think A tier or S tier, just because A tier. I don't know, because it's a really good skill, but like it's really dependent on the wave, on like the thing of waves, So I think I'm just gonna the composition. So I'm just gonna leave it here. Should I rename each tier? Okay. OP carries carry carry. uh, very. Let's say great. Is good. Solid. I don't know why it does that. DTR on it, but it's flash. Okay. Okay. These are gonna be like not useful, and then not super. Actually, I don't know how to say. I'm just gonna say like not good, and then F tier is just bad. Flash, crash, flash, Illyria, Yeah. Okay. Um. Speaking of Illyria, this is going there. I don't find much use. Actually, hold on. I need to rethink. Yeah, actually, yeah. Crash. Yeah. Second skill. Okay, dude. um, one above S. I don't know what that means. Wildcat. I'll put this in not good. I think it gets more use in the early game than multi-shot. I'm gonna say same thing for Hammer Smash. I'm not ordering this within tiers. I could give two less shits about this. I could give a rat's ass. Two rat's asses. Yeah, so there's like over 300 of these fucks. I'm not doing that. Um, yeah, I'm gonna put it here. It's just not good. I don't find very much use for it. It's again, it's good in the early game where you just get weak shit coming at you, but after that, it doesn't do anything. Earthquake, I think it's better. It's got better damage. It's got, the okay, okay. The damage is not useful. You don't rely on this for damage, but the stun is useful and a big AoE. But I think for it being the level 4 skill, I don't know. It's not. I don't see it getting much use. Let me get to. This is the Arcane Storm. The pew 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 pew. It's good. It's got a pretty good DPS for it being AoE. Short cooldown. It's good. All it's pretty good skill. Then we've got Mirage or whatever the fuck it's called. It's like illusions. Um, I don't know where to put this because the DPS it adds shit, but the armor shred is it overall adds. I think is pretty. I think I'm gonna put it in C tier because it's just like reliable blockers. It's not bad. Mines. I'm gonna put in D tier. I don't think. See a Glate. I definitely think they're. I definitely think the mines they're better than the multi shot just because they deal more damage in an AOE. Like per target, you're on average you're gonna get more damage from this skill. I think it this may be more reliable, but like it's just it's you just get more burst damage from this. Tar bomb, tar bomb, tar bomb. Now I'll put it in D tier too. I'm gonna, I don't know. Yeah, I'll put it in D tier. I think it's not very. I don't think it's very good. For. Oh. Oh. Okay. Okay. Really. Okay, Alex, please. Um. Tarbomb. I'm actually gonna keep Tarbomb in C tier. And hot take for me. Hot take. Hot take. But I think Tarbomb is C tier. I think just because it's giant slow. I think the rest of Wolin's kit drags him down, but I think this skill keeps him. It's not like it's a slow. You're always gonna get the slow. It's more reliable than the mines or multi shot or the Call of the Wild because you're affecting multiple enemies. But I think on average, it's still not that good though. Then we've got actually no. If I'm putting Ancestor Call up here, I'm putting this down at D tier. Never mind. Ancestor Call, it's all right. The units it adds, they're pretty good, but I'm not gonna say they're amazing. Like they've got better stats than most summons. They're not completely. They don't have 100% uptime, but it's still like a good uptime for the stats they give. I'm gonna another. I'm gonna put the skill C tier as well. I don't think it's that good, honestly. Like it doesn't add a lot of damage. Like it lets them level up more faster, but it's not a lot of damage. I don't think. So, what do you guys think? I don't think the skills particularly like it's invincibility, which is always good, but like I'm gonna say this again. You're not gonna get a lot of use from the skill compared to like I don't know, like Iron Time. Like Iron okay, Iron Time's OP. Oh fuck, I just realized I don't have the Tenchi skills. Um okay, hold on. Tenchi Fire Rush. What if I look up Tenchi Fire Rush? Okay. I don't get a Tenchi Fire Rush. Okay, I'm just gonna or you know what? I'm gonna hold on. Use I'm putting Rain of Fire in for Fire Rush. And then I'm just gonna put in the Ironhide logo for I'm just gonna put in the Ironhide logo for Iron Time. I don't feel it because I checked them. I tried to do it earlier on the wiki, but I couldn't find them. I'm just gonna. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. What do you mean? Wait, is the stream muted for me, or do you just have the stream muted? Hold on. Yeah, I'm saying shit. Okay, okay, okay. This skill I'm gonna put above courage, just because I think buffing towers is way better than buffing units. Because like a buff to a Tesla is way better than a buff to a barrack tower. You know, in any situation, like for any of these towers, it's gonna be better. And then this skill, I'm gonna put this skill in B tier as well. I think the damage it adds is pretty useful. It's not terrible, it's pretty good. But it's just like it's still inefficient at like hitting targets, so I think that's what keeps it from getting if it was better at hit if it was like better at hitting enemies, like if it was faster, then I think it would be I think it'd be good. Then I'm gonna put this is Flaming Frenzy, yeah. I'm putting this in A tier. The reason I don't put it in S tier is because the damage it gives isn't very good. But it's still like great for the heal. It's great. The damage is still it's not bad. The damage is comparable to Hammer Smash. I mean Hammer Smash. So, but it adds a heal instead. So I think that keeps it up here, but it's still not S tier. So this is easy S tier. Easy S tier. I don't think anybody's gonna disagree with me on that. Mega high damage, um, mega everything. It's great. That's strike. That's strike. That's strike. I'm putting this in A tier. Um, great damage. Great cooldown. Got the instant. Oh, I don't know. I'm the tough one for me actually, because it. Nah, I'm putting it in S tier. S tier. It's because like it adds really great damage. Like it's one of the best DPS skills in the series even, which is surprising for a Kingdom Rush 1 hero. And it has an insta kill chance, which isn't like OP, but it's still great for like big enemies you want to insta kill. So that's why it's an S tier. It's got like 320 damage every 14 seconds. That's like OP, I think. Well, let me look this shit. Let me check in the wiki. That's why I have the wiki open as a separate tab. Find that shit. Yeah. 340 true damage every 12 seconds. Yeah, that's OP. And this is Sword Torment, I think it's called. Yeah. It I'm putting this in B tier. It's you're welcome, KM5. I wasn't looking at the chat when he said that, I promise. Good damage. It's just, it's basic AoE true damage, it's not bad, but it's easier to micro than these two skills, I'd say, because it's more melee focused. Saw Blade, C tier. You know, it's good for leveling him up because it's like on a short cooldown, and it's like pretty good in the early game for lower health enemies, but like it just doesn't really scale well. I think it scales way better than these skills though. Um, this is another tough one for me. I think I might put it in A tier because I mean this skill does carry Hacksaw pretty hard, and it does synergize well with his tankiness because he can just tank, and then insta kill. But like I think early in the game, actually no, S tier. Eh, eh. I'm gonna put this right here. I'm gonna put this here for now, and then I'll look back on it later. Um, this is Bombardment of Men. Well, you, I think it's definitely better than these skills. I would say 100%. I think this skill has like the damage it adds overall is it's got a pretty high DPS. Let me find it. Hold on. Um, King Dinas. King Dinas party. What the hell is that? No, what is the King Dinas party? What the fuck is this? From King? Who the fuck? Who the fuck read this shit? What the fuck? Okay. 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 We're gonna go away from this, but let me find it. Yeah, it's 370 damage every 12 seconds in an AoE. It's like the targeting it can like kind of fuck you up sometimes, but I think the overall damage like makes up for it. It's like 350 explosive AoE damage every 12 seconds. Like it's better than I'd say it's like on par with Astral Barrage or whatever it's called, just because this is true damage. But I still think the damage from this is pretty good. Okay, yeah. Ice Spikes again, easy A tier. It's high dam. It's like what, like 300 and something magic damage every 8 seconds or whatever. It's like very reliable and consistent damage. So S tier. I'm not gonna, it's not gonna sugarcoat it. Slows, super mega reliable, low cooldown. It's only for like 2 seconds, but it's still in a pretty huge AOE once you max it out. And piled with like her great AOE damage and her other slows from her basic attacks, it's insane. Mjolnir, this is Thunderclap. Yeah, but the buff isn't like amazing. It's not like a big buff, you know. It's just like a 10% range buff and a 20% range and attack speed buff. It's good for like certain scenarios, but I don't think it's like game changing. You know, it's not like amazing. It's not like it doesn't affect things as much as these skills, which deal immediate damage. It's like reliant on your towers. And like you have to have Venus like farther back, like farther placed back to like make sure it doesn't die. And when you do that, he can't like buff that many towers. It's good for like the Dark Tower. It's good for I think it's Hakraj uh Plateau, but it's not really good for other like or it's kind of good for Castle Blackburn. But other than that, it doesn't get good synergy on most maps. Thunderclap, C tier. It's not great, It's not amazing, but it's not bad either. It's still like AoE magic damage. I would say I'm hesitant. I'm hesitant to put this in C tier because it pairs well with his like giant tanking skills because he can just like proc it more often. But I think the overall damage DPS is also pretty good. But I think the single target damage isn't amazing. But I think I'll put this in C tier. Yeah, but it's still a lot of damage. Even if it does miss, you're still even if some of it does miss, it's still like a shit ton of damage. And next up is Iron Time. I don't think I'm gonna have any Gerald Shield. I have it in A tier just because it's heavily enemy reliant skill. The skill is very heavily enemy because because most of the big enemies have AoE attacks and it activates on Cerberus, I think, but that's it. There aren't any like the troll breakers, the yetis, the forest trolls. You know, not even. Why is my stream such bad quality? Hold on, let me check. Let me check the shit on YouTube. Hold on, give me a sec. The bitrate. Open which? How the fuck do I stream at a higher bitrate? What the fuck does that mean? Okay, it says I have a good connection. Hold on. Good night, then. Sorry, that was my dad. Yes, that was my dad. What time is it? Okay, I don't know what's up with your stream on your end. Okay, Iron Time. I'm not gonna. It's invincibility, AoE, like insane AoE damage, and you get Earthquake 2.0, and you get like it's like pretty much a better version of this. Like it's in every way, it's insane. It is like you can't like use it against isolated enemies, which is a problem though. But it's not that much. It's not like that big of a problem. Iron Fire Rush. I'll put this in A tier. It's A tier, yeah. A tier. I think the true damage. It's pretty good true damage. It's not terrible. But it's not as it's still like a high. It's like a 20 something cooldown, which is pretty high for this game. I don't think any other the only other skill that reaches that cooldown, I think, is that level of cooldown is I think Timber here. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, okay. This is Blazing Breath. Blazing Breath. Um, I think this is a very hot take, but I'm putting this in C tier. I'm putting this in C tier. Okay, hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. Like it's a 10-second cooldown, deals 100 true damage overall. It's the AoE is kind of shitty, but it's still on a 10-second cooldown. It's really good for the zombie area where there's a shit ton of zombies and the ghosts. It's good for it's just good in general because it deals a high. It's because it's just like on a low cooldown. It's just spammy true damage, which I think is pretty useful sometimes. This I'm gonna put in D tier. You know, it's not really good. The insta it can like, if you're like just have ash bite somewhere, if you're just like microing them normally, like when the insta kill procs, it can be pretty nice. But other than that, it's not like amazing. It's like the damage is it's not a lot of damage. So it's only kind of useful when you proc the insta kill, but even then. Oh, okay, El Magnifico is a shout out. Yeah, you happy? You happy? This skill, Fiery Mist also goes in C tier, I think. It's just like a slow. It's not a lot. It's just like a mediocre slow. It's not terrible, but it's not amazing. It's not terrible either. It's still I think it's got the uptime's not bad, but like with the way you're unorthodoxically microing Ashbite, you're not gonna have him in amazing placements all the time. Wildfire Barrage. Um, I'm I'm gonna put this in eight. It's like an 18. It's like B tier. The single target damage isn't amazing, but it's still like it's still got like a giant AOE. Damages overall is still very nice, and it's like, but the micro forward is really bad. It's really weird, especially with like Ashbite's mediocre boost speed. And then True Fire, I'm also gonna put. Oh, the Ironhide logo is supposed to be Iron Time for for uh for Tenchi, and then this is supposed to be Tenchi's Fire Rush because I couldn't find it on the wiki. Okay, Boneheart. I'm gonna put this is Spine Rain A tier. It's just high mat, it's just short cooldown, good damage. Nothing else to say. These things, I'm actually gonna put it in B tier because he has no ground stalling, and it gives him that. It's like only on like a 20-second cooldown, and when you have like a space between waves, you can have like two of them or three of them like readily available to stall incoming enemies. So I think with proper positioning, this skill can be pretty alright. This is Play Carriers S tier. This is I don't I don't think I need to comment on this at all. You know, this is Disease Nova, the one where he like drops down. Um, I'm putting this in C tier. Like for a flying hero, the damage is not good. Like it's not like it's really easy to micro, but it's like on a 30-second cooldown, got 150 damage. It's just not a lot compared to like every other AoE skill in the game, especially for a flying hero. But it's not awful. It's still really easy to micro. This also an S tier. Again, I don't have to say anything. Just like it's like damage on damage on damage on damage on damage. Um, Skull buff. These two skills, I don't know whether to count these as stat buffs. Honestly, I'm gonna count these as stat buffs, just because it's kind of hard to figure out how to rank them. You know, I'm just gonna label these as stat buffs. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Skull sacrifice. It's technically not stat buff. A tier, B tier. It adds like a shit ton of DPS, but like it's not. It's like overall the DP you don't like see it. It's like in practice the DPS still isn't like amazing because it tends to get spread out due to like how you like get skeletons from killing enemies. Dread Aura A tier. It synergizes insanely well with her kit, and it just lets her not only get insane amount of damage, but also get well, not only like lets her slow enemies on top of the shit ton of damage she's dealing while moving. B tier, this does like 500 damage every time you use it if it's used on the right enemy. I think it's pretty good. Actually, wait, hold on. I actually want to know how much that does. Um, Let me see. It's 122 damage. It's like 600 overall on a 20-second cooldown. That's overall it's a lot of damage, but I think just because it's slow single target damage, it doesn't get into A tier. And yeah, that's Brexa. Sprucia, I don't know how to pronounce it. Guns Akimbo, A tier. It deals a shit ton of damage. What can I say? Same thing goes for Silver Bullet. No, I don't. This doesn't necessarily mean that it's okay. This doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. It just means that like you can't really rank it. Like I can't really rank it. Like oh, I'm gonna put toughness up there. I'm gonna put the health buff. You know, like you can't really like rank it. Um, Holy Water. I'm gonna put this in C tier because it lets him counter um lets him counter the the Black Surges pretty well. I think it works on Vampiresses. I don't know for sure though, but it's like the best counter to Black Surges in the game. So I'm gonna put this skill. I'm gonna put in C tier. No, B tier. It counters. Well, I mean, well, the problem with it is that the only like threatening armored enemies are like blood shells, black surges, and that's kind of it. You know. So you can't like I guess maybe Myrmidons you can say, but other than that, I'm just gonna have to like other than that like oh, but this is really tough for me because countering blood shells is really good. What do you guys think? I'm gonna put this in. I'm gonna put this in B tier. It just synergizes well with his kit, you know, with his physical damage and with his, you know, good. This skill D tier increases the damage of units. When are you really gonna find that useful? Actually, I might put it in F tier honestly. At least these skills have some kind of use. This thing does nothing. Like especially for like Templars, or skeletons, it's not useful. Bull Rush A tier. Bull Rush is like it's insane overall. Like it's insane. Like a stun. It's hard to micro, I will say, but when you are microing it effectively, it's insane. This is Blood Axe. Yeah, this is Blood Axe. The percent true. I'm gonna put this as B tier. It's not bad, you know, the damage. It's not like reliable at all, but like the overall DPS like on paper, it's still pretty high. Daedalus' Maze. Ooh. I'm gonna have to put that in C tier, honestly. Like I know like with micro it can be effective. But like I just don't like whenever I'm trying to micro I'm not like focusing on oh I have to make sure Daedalus' Maze is good. Like it's always because Bull Rush is the highest like priority skill. One of the highest like micro like one of the most like, the highest skill in the game. Like you have to micro this or else that's a shit, you know? And like with Daedalus mate, you don't even need like you don't really think about the skill as much as you do Bull Rush, you know? This gets completely overshadowed. This skill I'm also gonna put in B tier and C tier. You know, it's not amazing, but it's still like it's still like a 40% buff. It's like a 50% buff. Hold on. Um Hold on. 75% buff. Okay. It's not bad, but like you can't like micro it as efficiently. Like it's kind of the same with like Angry God here. But the buff it adds is not as good, I don't think. You know, I think like especially when he uses it when there are no enemies around. And again, you can micro it to like use it like you can't use it when moving. But if you're microing but like again, you're microing around Bull Rush more than you are with this skill. So same thing. This skill, Doomspin, I'm gonna put it in B tier. Okay? Like okay, look at the stats. 40 to 144 damage. It's not great. But but with how much you're moving Kaz around, right? With how much you're moving that fucker around, he's like you don't have any good opportunities to put him in melee combat to deal damage. That's why I'm moving this down to C tier, by the way. It you don't have a lot of good opportunities to deal damage. So when you move him, you can just move him into like a crowd, a skill, and then keep him moving for bull rush. You know, it's really easy to micro this skill to just get good damage from it compared to these three. You know, which is why I'm putting it in B tier. Iron Pincer, womp womp. Burrow, this is Burrow, womp womp. This skill is a tough one to rank for me. 'Cause I love this skill. I think it's a pretty alright skill. You know, when you use it, yeah, I'm gonna put it in B tier. I love this. This might be slightly biased, but I love it. You know, it deals. I mean, it lets him tank again. It gives him the best potential tanking skills in the game. You know, he's the only hero who can reliably stall against mini bosses. I know it's funny to say because it's on a chance, but he is the only one that can reliably stall against mini bosses in the late game. He's the only one who can stall against the brutes and the Saurian brutes. Only one who, you know, it gives him. It's not great. It's not A tier just because it's still on a chance, and he has to be below a certain amount of health. This skill C tier. Not much to say about it. Not a lot of damage. It's really annoying to micro. Especially considering how you want to be microing this run more. So it's just kind of there. Same for Iron Pincer. Like the damage it deals is pretty good, but the DPS it has is pretty good for an AOE skill. But the problem with it is it's linear, so you have to micro it around like horizontal parts of the map, and again, it's not really that good. Snake bite, snake bite, snake. This snake bite. I'm putting this D tier. You know, just doesn't do a lot. You know, it's niche for blood shells and brutes, but it's like you'd have to like bend your ass over just to fucking get that, and like what's the point at that point, you know? Um, this skill I'm gonna put in C tier. It's just AoE damage, you know. It's not amazing, but you know it's still pretty alright. Same thing for the dodge, you know. I think the dodge can be pretty useful. It gives Kutao, it makes up for its low EHP kinda, and it makes up for its low base damage, but it still doesn't completely make up for it, you know. He's still shitty against true damage. He's still shitty against AoE damage, so not amazing. The skill D tier, you know. Well, what else are you gonna say about it? It's 70 true damage even if it's like on a 9-second cooldown. It's one of the worst single target skills in the game in terms of DPS. This skill overall it has a high DPS, but again, single target. It's only good against when you use it against an isolated target. It's pretty nice, but that's pretty rare in Frontiers. When they just spam shit. Okay, now we're on the Saitom. The skill D tier. It's really not. It's not good damage at all. It's like 108 damage every 20 seconds. It's not good at all. Same thing for Tetsubo Storm. I'm gonna put this in. Yeah, I'm gonna put this because it takes a while for it to work, and his damage is still shit after this. Like you know, it's too flawed and it doesn't give Saitam enough. That skill I'll put in C tier. Monkey Palm. It's actually not bad. Like when you look at him, like especially when paired with his regeneration, you know, it lets him tank for longer. It lets him like work against black surges for longer. Against like any like black surges I think is a good use case for it. It's a little too niche, but I still think it's enough of it, and it stuns, you know, just give them better longevity overall. Same thing for the skill. It's way better than Cronin's regen, you know, because he has armor. Dante's skill is not bad. This skill, hold on, let me see the damage buff it adds, because I was under the impression it deals like it's like a 20% damage buff or something. 50, okay. Okay. 50% damage buff. It's a little bit better than I thought it was. I think. But this is a game where, well, okay, look at Templars. Look at the Templars. They already have a shitty DPS, you know? This is not saving them at all. You're not using Templars for DPS. Same thing I think goes for the Assassins. You don't get damage from their basic attack much at all. You get it from counterattack and you get it from sneak attack. You're not using Dante to get damage for the skill. It's like these two. It just adds like passive damage that isn't really a lot overall. And this is especially in a game where it's heavily anti-barracks. It's heavily anti-barracks. It's in a game where you have black surges, not like blood shells, the blue gales. We've got hell even the basic green fins. You got literally like then you've got myrmidons, brutes, abominations, that death coils. You know, it's you don't get this a lot. Like and then there's like enemies like the fuck what's their name? The devil tides and the ghouls, which are like pretty much basic enemies that have armor. You know, so you don't get a lot of damage from that either. Again, but like the reinforcements in Frontiers suck. Or not suck, but they're you don't use them for the melee damage. Like let me see their damage. It's like 6 to 10, I think. Yeah, six. It's not. Ah, damn, I can't believe I got that. It's you like a 50% damage buff on this is not gonna give you a lot overall. I don't think. It's probably better than these two skills, but like there aren't enough like there aren't like any like good summon like the necromancer, the skeletons don't get any use from it. Like like the death rider. The death rider maybe, but that's still too niche of a use case, I'd say. Better than tiger at the very least. And oh, you mean about the reposition? I don't think the reinforcement. I don't think the reinforcement range attack gets buffed by it. If it did, then this goes up in the D tier. But I don't think. I don't think it's. But for now, I don't think it does. Let me see. Let me find it. Yeah, I don't. Oh wait, what? It buffs sneak attack and counter attack. Okay. Okay, I might have. Okay, this actually. This actually isn't bad. I didn't know. I didn't know that it could buff the skills. I thought it just buffed the base damage. That changes a lot. This honestly might go into C tier because actually, no, I'll keep it. Yeah, C tier definitely. Because if it's buffing the assassin's skills and if it buffs and I'm assuming now it buffs recurve bows, then I think it's definitely not that bad. Okay, thank y'all for pointing that out to me. And this is an ordered within tiers. This is a. I want to make that clear. This is an ordered within tiers. Trying to keep it close to the original hero. Hey, Dante. Okay, okay. Thank y'all for that. Angry God. I'm putting this a B tier. Just because actually I'll put it in A tier. It's the same. It's okay. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Shy Guy. Thank you. Thanks to Shy the Guy the Mask. This skill goes into A tier just because it pairs really well with anything. Any like it pairs with dwarfs. Pairs well. It just really pairs well. It lets you shred through any enemy. Like it's especially good when you have blood shells on the map and you need a your archmage to shred through them. It's really good for when you have like any swarm of enemy. It's good when you have furnace blast up. It's good when you get the niche. It's good when you get a archmage the explosive blast. So I think it's pretty good in A tier. And then swordsmanship and toughness. Spiked armor A tier. Synergizes really well with his overall tankiness. Is yeah, the Rain of Fire is Tenchi, and this is Tenchi as well. Flurry I'm gonna put in A tier as well. It's good damage. It does kind of fall off into armor, which he is good at, which it does kind of conflict with his true damage being meant to put him in melee combat with high tanky armored enemies, but it's still great. S tier. S tier. Walking barracks, it's insane. How good, how much value you get from this. It's like it has like 100% uptime. 3 units. It's great, Nothing more to say. Swordsmanship and toughness. I love how they have two swordsmanships and two toughnesses in this game. They have the same name. They didn't even try to. And then looting. Looting, I'm gonna put in A tier. It's pretty solid, pretty great. The only reason why I'm not putting it in S tier is because when you have maps like like the Dusk Chateau or it's either Dusk Chateau or Plateau. I don't pronounce it. The Facile fight. You have maps like the Stormatal. It's like when you have like open maps where you kind of it doesn't really work well, like as well as it should. It doesn't like get as much value as you should be getting. So that, or not like should, but it loses out on value is what I'm saying. Rum and bang, D tier. I see no value in this skill. I never doesn't deal any good damage. It's sure it's on a low cooldown, but you never see it finish enemies off. You know, like the damage is like way too spread out. It's like 12 damage per clunk or per shot, and there's like 8 shots. So if you get lucky on a big target, it can deal like 100 damage, but you're not gonna get that much at all. And then we've got Whirlpool. It's not great. It's not amazing, but I think it's still solid. You know, it's not bad. You know, I see it gives him some use outside of his looting, but it just kind of happens, you know. So I can't. I'm not putting in B tier. You know, the skill, okay, regeneration B tier doesn't do enough for the hero. You know, he's got no armor, so he can't really. So he can only like it only helps him stall against like shitty melee basic enemies. You know, it doesn't help with anything else. Well, the reason I'm putting it in D tier is because the damage is shit. Like, it's not notable damage at all. Like, if you use it against like grouped up enemies, like you're not gonna see a lot of damage coming out from it. Like, especially compared to like any of these skills, you know. Like even Blazing Breath, I think is more reliable than it. Boars put in D tier as well. I don't think, especially in a game again, anti-barrack game, these things get no use. Stampede, I'm gonna put in C tier. I think it can get some kind of use, you know? It's when you get lucky, but it's heavily luck reliant. Heavily luck reliant. And then these two, I'm gonna put these two in D tier and F tier, I think. Just because this has a slow attack speed and it's got a pretty wide damage range. And then this just deals shit damage, you know? So these go in shit tier. Then we got fucking Deirdre. Yeah, yes, I got Holy Light. This is Consecrate. I'm gonna put this. I'm putting Consecrate in C tier. Honestly, I don't think it's that bad. I think it's actually it lets you get more value from battle mechas. From battle mechas, warps I'd say because warps have shitty single target damage. It just boosts it even more. Um, what else? I guess it synergizes well with the treble axe throwers because they already have a good. I summoned a whole. There are 7 viewers. I wouldn't call this the whole community, but I appreciate it. It's much more than I've ever had. Um, yeah, for all AKR players. Wings of Light, this skill I'm gonna put in D tier. Again, it's anti-barracks, but paired with this, if you lump these two skills together, they'd both be in C tier. But I think just because actually, this is a tough one for this is like up to 4 allies, I think. So it does synergize really well with the assassin with the barracks of this game. This synergizes. Okay, I'm putting this in C tier as well, just because it really synergizes with Necromancer. It really synergizes with Necromancer. Let's see the skeletons tank a few other hits. Okay, Brawl. I'm gonna put this in the shitty stat buff, useless fucking skills tier. Just because, you know, it's still like basically a stat buff. So now I'm putting this a stat, but if you considered it a real skill, I'd still put it in like D tier. So yeah. It's not like amazing. The damage buff it does add is nice, but he's got like a 1.3 second attack speed. He's slow, so you can really easily lose it if you're trying to move him. But you know, it's not great. Sharp Punch B tier. You know, it's like 200. It's good single target damage. You know, not so much to say. Boulder, I'm putting in C tier. I think Boulder, it's not bad. You know, it's just AOE damage. Same thing with these two skills. You know, but it's got a long range, so it lets him like affect parts of the map where it normally can't because of slow speed. The skill I'm also gonna put in B tier. The damage it does the AoE is really weird sometimes, but I think again it's on a low cooldown. It's good damage, you know. It's whatever. Okay, well, there's so many of these fucking things. Jesus Christ. This okay, the dodge F tier. I mean, come on, come on, come on. This only gets any niche use in like the first Come on, dude. Come on, dude. Lethal. This is no. This is stance. I'm gonna also put this in D tier and F tier because single target. It's 42 damage per target when there are more than It's not nothing. This skill, however, I am gonna be putting in C tier. I know this might seem as like a bit of a surprise, but over it compared to other skills, who dared you to do that? Who would? Did you dare yourself to do that? I feel like you would dare your. That sounds like something you would dare yourself to do. Like I'm not. I just dropped. I'm sorry. I dropped my. I have my phone open to watch the chat. These are not. I just keep dropping my phone. These are not ranked within tiers because I don't hate myself. Um. So yeah, yeah. I'm not. Maybe another day I'll rank these within tiers, but for now I'm not even gonna try. There are still I still have over 100 of these fucking things. So like 200 left at least. Okay. Um, Ricochet. I'm gonna put this. I gotta do this. I'm gonna put in. I don't know if I'm gonna put this in D tier or F. I'm putting this out here. Like compared to others, it's just like low damage and like the AOE is not very good. So I'm gonna put this in D tier. This an F tier. I mean, this skill I'm considering either put because C tier because like there aren't a lot of magic resistant enemies in this game. Like there's yeah, he's not utterly bottom of the barrel. I'll say. You'll watch the VOD. Yeah, you're gonna no, because I tried to do this one day and I was like nah, and then now I'm like what this would make for some good content, so I'm gonna do it. I'm putting this in C tier. If you the numbers on it is very high compared to other skills. It's a very high DPS overall skill, and it does give him some kind of niche. Like it's not bad, is what I'm gonna say. It does rely on his shitty basic attack, but just because there's like three magic resistant enemies, it's not that in the game. There's there's darters, nightcrawlers, even the tiers are. What do you mean by that, Alex? Like nightcrawlers, bluegales, and Vampressos. That's literally it. Only like significant magic resistant enemies in the game. So like it's not gonna make much of a difference. I'm also gonna put this. Actually, hot take. I'm putting this in D tier. It lets you kill one enemy, and I don't think that's very useful. If I'm being honest, like actually, it's a good execute when you time the cooldown right. We're about to have 75 heroes. We have like 72. We have like 73 right now. And technically, if you count the upcoming Vengeance one, we're gonna have 76. Okay, Alex. Well, you can spend your time making your own tier list, and then we can disagree. Okay. Come on, Niv is better. Yeah, Niv is better than Cronin, 100%. I think Davis. I don't think he's that terrible. I agree with you, Shy Guy Mask. I agree with Viduk though. He's definitely bottom 20%, but I don't think he's F tier. I think he's like mid D tier. Okay, now we're at Chakra. This come on. Oh, I forgot. F tier. I'm not gonna say anything. Um, Abduction A tier. We haven't had an A tier skill in a while. It's an insta kill in a 25-second cooldown. That's pretty good. Um, oh hello, Elite Harasser. Damn, I'm getting a lot of people in here. Um. You're gonna shame me. I'm gonna shame you in your own chat. See how it feels for you. Purification protocol. I'm gonna put in C tier. It's just not a lot of damage, especially compared it's like it's worse damage than lethal strike. But I think it's still like not terrible. The anti. It's more like because with lethal strike you rely on it more. This is you don't rely on this as much. It's still reliable. Like you don't have to rely on my insta kill. You don't have to rely on this having a percent chance to insta kill. This is just like a solid stream of damage. This I would say for that if it didn't deal if it didn't deal 30 damage to each enemy. So I don't know what to say with that. Now into Bruce. Now we're into hero spells. This is Sharp Claws. I'm gonna put this in B tier just because it synergizes well with the bloodletting shots. Gives them insane DPS, and it's all around pretty good. This goes into D tier. It's not good. Um, it's just like it stuns 5 enemies for 3 seconds, or 6 enemies for 3 seconds on it. It's just worse than like top 50. I have okay. I don't know about top 50. Oh, top 50 second match. I don't know about you second match. I would not put him in top 50. Okay, and sorry. Yeah, it's just like it's compared to other stun skills, it's not good. Okay, Grievous Bites, B tier. You know, just good, reliable, true damage. Nothing more to say about it. Um, Hero Spell. I'm gonna put Hero Spell in D tier. I don't think it's that good at all. It's like even with like good timing, the damage it deals per target isn't very good, and it's only like stuns for like 3 seconds, I think. So it's not really that reliable either. Crystallites S tier, S tier, S tier, S tier. Nothing much to say about it. I'm gonna do Sapphire Fangs first. I'm putting it in C tier. When you've got an isolated target, it's really good. When you've got a few enemies, it's really good. It's not good. It's really good for isolated targets, but when you see like crowded enemies, it like kind of gets shit. Well, top 50, yeah, I don't think it's top 50 at all. Oh yeah, I've got the skills here. They're all here. Um, I don't know how this is here, but it's here. I don't know how this is here, but not Isfet skill. I had to manually add in Isfet skills and 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 Tenchi's. Um, okay. These three skills: Arm Blade, Lethal Prism, and uh, I forgot the name of this one. Spear Throw, whatever the fuck it's called. The Crystal Javelin. Um, I'm I don't know what to think of this skill honestly because or how to rank these because if you think of them individually, they're all D tier. They're all F tier. Except for this actually goes into D tier. But if you think of but with crystallites, they all go into A tier, considering you have 3 of them. Like okay, I'm gonna bundle these with crystallites. Just because considering because you technically you're gonna have 3 of them, so where are the rest of Faustus's skills? Okay. I'm gonna have to deal with this real quick. Okay, speaking of Faustus, let's go through this motherfuckers now. This is Liquid Fire. Yeah, Bruce is okay, we're not talking about the heroes themselves though. So hold on. Bruce will need good heroes. Yeah, if he had a better hero spell, or if he just had better move speed on, like if he either needs better hero spell, or he just needs like if his passive regeneration thing actually regenerated a decent amount of health, then it'd be better. Okay. Next we have Liquid Fire. I'll put this in C tier. It's a giant AoE, I'll say, but it's still not a lot of damage. This skill I'm gonna put in B tier actually, but it's an even giant or AoE, but it still doesn't deal good damage. But it's also got compared to this, you can also control it more. So Dragonlance, hot take, putting some B tier. It can overkill, but when you like go through but when you micro around Faustus's single target damage, it's it can be pretty good. It deals a lot of damage. Got a high DPS. Teleport rune. Um, I'm gonna put this. Ooh, where should I put this? I think C tier is fair for it. I think the C tier. I think if it, when you, I think the teleport is not bad on its own. It can be pretty good for isolating targets like Twilight Golems or Dark Champions, or Shadow Champions, sorry. But it's just not really great. It's not amazing outside of that. Especially when you pair it with fucking space the the reality fucking alter reality. Next we've got Enervation. I'm gonna put this in D tier. It's actually no C tier, because there are a lot of enemies you can silence in this game. You know, a lot of silenced enemies. Okay, next we've got Phoenix. Oh my god, this tier list is getting so fucking big, dude. Um, this is Immolation. Yeah, Immolation. I am gonna put this in S tier. It's just a lot of damage, you know? You can rely, because there are, in every area, there are ways for you to reliably kill Phoenix. Like, you can, like, Harassers, and for the Twilight Elves, you got Ogre Magi for the Hulking Rage. Then you've got Dark Spitters, but then aren't that reliable for doing it, but then you also have, um, you've also got the, what are they called again? You've also got the pit fucking explosions, you know, so that's pretty good. This skill, this is purification, purifying flames. I think I'm gonna put this in B tier. I think when you've got, especially in the hulking rage, you can get some pretty good damage from. You can get some pretty good overall damage from it with like the swarms of fucking units, so it's not bad. Blazing Offspring, C tier. I know so many of these names. I just realized. I feel like I've been naming all of these fucking names. Um, not the guys, not the brag or anything, but I think I know more names than you do. I'm more of a fucking loser with no life than you do. Okay, so I think I win in that department. Um, yeah, it's just single target damage. You know, for a flying hero, it's not great, but still reliable. Um, Ring of Fire. This might be a hot take for me, but I'm gonna have to put it in D tier. It's just it's not, it's for an AoE skill. The damage is all right, but it's heavily reliant. Signs of an insane person. It's heavily reliant on the map. Like, you have to have a good map for it. You know, you've got to have a good map. You've got to have really good placement for Phoenix. But the problem with that is that you want to be placing Phoenix where Immolation is better, not where Ring of Fire is better. So no, I don't. The only reason why I have these here is just because they're boring and they're really annoying to rank. It's really annoying to rank in comparison to like a skill that actually does stuff, you know. So I don't count them. So I think it's just funny to put them there. Yeah, and then Hero Spell I'm gonna put Hero Spell in A tier. I think fuck, what's the name? Okay, I don't know the name of this one. I'm gonna have to look this one up. The fucking, it's like Ember Field. I know it. Never mind, I don't have to look it up. I think it's pretty solid. You know, it's targeted true damage on like a 16-second cooldown, and it's a lot of true damage. It's a lot of damage. It's explosive. It's either explosive or true damage. Either way, it's really good. Then we've gone to the Wilbur. Move speed here. Well, the reason I think Chakra Energy Glaive isn't good is just because single target damage is trash, and it's unreliable. Like, those two factors do not add up well. Like, if you get lucky, it can be better than these skills, but odds are you aren't gonna get lucky in most scenarios. And even when you do get lucky, like, it's 35 damage. That's less damage than this, than dance, the fucking lethal dance or whatever the fuck it's called, shadow dance. So it's not good. I don't think it's very good. Missiles, Wilbur missiles. I'm gonna put in C tier. It's just more AoE damage. It's not amazing. It's not. The skill I'm also gonna put in C tier because it's in the same vein as Ashbite's Fiery Mist. It's in this with this. It's like very similar stats, but it's easier to micro because it's right below him. You know, so it's not bad. It's not bad, but it's not like amazing. This skill I'm gonna put in B tier. It's screaming out how only one Illyria skill is an Illyria. Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna put this in B tier. If you look at the damage, the numbers on this are very good. You know, it's like 300 something true damage every 20 seconds. You know, it's not bad. Let me find it. I don't have the exact numbers memorized for all these skills, but I do know that I know for the most part how, like, yeah, it's like on average more than 300 true damage every 20 seconds. So it's pretty good. I'm reading all your messages. Well, I'm not commenting to Alex Play saying I'm unhealthy. So let's see. Pew pew drones, C tier. Single target, just because the single target, like overall the DPS is pretty high. The single target damage isn't very good. You know, like if you, it's good for an isolated target, but again in Origins, it's not like compared to Frontiers, there are more isolated targets, but it's still not amazing. Like compared to like Sapphire Fangs, it comes out much slower. It can get divided much easier. Like even with enemies being nearby, they'll just go to that, you know? So I don't think it's that great. Now we're on to Aravan. I fucking love Aravan. So, but these aren't this. I swear to God, it's not gonna be. It's not gonna be biased. Fiery Seal, C tier. You know, it's just AoE damage. It's not amazing. You know, it's got it's like a 25-second cooldown. So compared to his other skills, it's not amazing. Lightning Rod, B tier. It's easy to micro. You know, it's high true, it's good true damage. It does have a bit of a high damage range though, but I think when you pair it with Prison is C tier. So but when you pair it when these two are paired with each other, it can get pretty nice. It can be pretty nice for like shadow champions. This isn't. Yeah, I bet it's insane to you, big guy. That sounded really bad. Stone Dance. I'm gonna. Is it Stone Dance? Please say it's Stone Dance. It's like Stone Summon or something. I don't know how I got that right. It's not it lets air vent stall. I think air vent it lets air vent stall. So I think it's good for because it lets them take any amount of damage and not die. I think for like in Origins where there's a lot of like ants, there's a lot of like high damage things that shred through your barracks sometimes, or just ranged enemies in general. It can be pretty good. Yeah, I'm ranking these skills. Why do you think it's RNG? Like Sapphire Fang. I don't think Sapphire Fangs is like compared to other hero spells, it's not that good. Like you know, it's like I'm willing to put it into B tier for now, but it's just not amazing. I would say it's better than Pew Pew. Okay, it's better than Pew Pew Drones, so I think I can put it in B tier. I'm gonna put it like here. I think. Yeah, I'm gonna put it here, over here. I'm gonna put it over. Yeah, I'm gonna put it over here. Okay. There. Okay. Okay. We're gonna have to. I've gotten a few skill names wrong. Um. Okay. Okay. Let me address courage hate. Um. For it can. Okay. Let's go. So early game, it is good for letting your reinforcements and your barracks survive longer. But late game, when there's like when they're spamming enemies, like they have like when they're spamming like swamp things, or when they're spamming like Flareons, or when they're spamming fucking I don't fucking know the shit gobbler. I don't know whatever. It doesn't do anything in the late game. In the late game, it's just kind of there. It's a nothing burger. Okay, nothing ever happens with this skill. You know, it's not a very good skill. I don't think it's a good skill. I don't see why you what. Why do you guys think it's C tier? That's what I want to know. I don't find myself getting used from the skill at all in the late game because like paladins are already tanking for a while, so it does make him kind of semi invincible for a few seconds. I think like because like right after that they're just gonna there's like right after that there's what they're just gonna die, you know. I don't think it adds a lot to his overall kit. Like you want to have Gerald farther up on the path anyways to immediately spawn kill big enemies, right? And in what scenario are you going to also have reinforcements up there that are also going to be tanking for as long as Gerald? Okay, think about it like that. I don't think it doesn't it doesn't like synergize well with this kit. Yeah, Illyria is S tier because you can summon a unit. Um, Tornado. This is a tough one for me. I think it's B tier. I think it's still an insane amount of AoE damage. It's like a lot of damage and a huge AoE. You know, it has a high cooldown. I will say that's the problem with it. So you want to save it, but I still think it's pretty good. Okay, check the final rankings later. It's only 11 for me. I can stay up as long as I want. Okay. Okay, now we're on the what the fuck is his name again? Bravebark. I got his name right. Root spikes. B tier. It's like not even 100 damage every 20. Like, hold on. This skill has a worse DPS than Panda Style. Do you know how shitty Panda Style is? It's not. This skill sucks. You only get any reliable use from it in the null area, where nothing has armor. Anything anywhere else, it doesn't do nothing. You know. So that's why. Thank you, Kenny. I appreciate it. I've been getting a lot of viewers, so I got surprised. Oak Seeds, C tier. I don't think Oak Seeds is good. It's the units themselves. They're kind of shit. I don't think it's very good. I think it's in C tier just because it has like, well, what's the uptime on it? Hold on, it's like 20 seconds. The uptime on it is shit. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, okay, the uptime, it's 20 seconds for a 25-second cooldown. Um, yeah, okay, D tier actually. Compared to others, it's like they're gonna die before their 20 seconds is up because they only have like 150 health. So this is gonna die. Yeah, Duke server emote ranking. I'll do that one day. I might do that. So I don't think it's. I think it's neither of these skills are very good. Spring's branch ball, however, is A tier. It's an insta kill on a tanky hero who has a teleport. The teleport is slow, but you can just teleport him in front of it. It counters it's really good overall, and it's got like a 30-second cooldown, 35 second. Okay, it's not the greatest in terms of its cooldown, but just by virtue of the fact that it's on a melee insta kill on a hero with a teleport, I think it's pretty solid. Free hero tier list? Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that soon enough. I can do that after this if I have enough time. Spring Sap. This is a tough one for me. I'm gonna put it C tier. I mean, I'm gonna put it B tier. This may come as a shock, but it lets him stall. It gives him some form of use against the really, because like his base tankiness is it. Lilith has the same base tankiness as Bravebark. So like and he has a shit regen. So when you have the skill that lets him tank for like twice as long because it heals him, I think it's pretty good. Like you're never gonna want to have Bravebark below a certain amount of health. Like when this is off cooldown anyways, because you're gonna be healing him during that time. You just kind of just end up because most of the time you're just waiting for him to use branch ball, waiting for a hero an enemy come by that you can use branch ball on. So, but I still think it's pretty good. Um, I don't know the name. Okay, I forgot the name of the song. What is it called? Nature's Wrath. Okay. I don't think this skill. It's just AOE true damage. It can stun enemies for a little bit, so I think it can reliably reliably stun enemies and shit. So I think if it was just for the damage, this would be D tier. But I think because of it's a 1 second stun, sure, but it's like a controlled stun. So I think it's still pretty good. Now we're on the Katha. This is Katha's hero spell. This is this is Katha's hero spell. Katha's hero spell goes into S tier. Um, I will say nothing more about Katha's hero spell. No, it's a 6 second stun on a 25-second cooldown. I don't know what more you want from it. It's insane. This is I think Fairy's Wrath or whatever. I don't know the name of this skill. I'm being honest. This is another. That's Pixie Dust. I remember that one. But this is I think this is called Fairy's Wrath. This is her. This goes into D. This goes in F tier. This goes in F. Even like if you alright, it's the reason why it's 18. It has a high. I think it has like a marginally higher DPS than well, let me see. 4 divided by 10. It's got a slightly higher DPS than Mirage's. Um, than Mirage's Shadow Dance, but it's less reliable. And they both deal shit damage either way, so there's no really point in putting them any higher. This is her. Fairy Tale. Okay, I forgot this. I forgot this one's name again. Um, Fairy Tale. I'm gonna put this in B tier. Paired with this skill, they just let it like when you have a big tanky enemy and this is available, it lets you like pretty much perma-stall it because it's just a one. It's like it stuns them for how many seconds? It's like a 1.5 second stun. And because there's this 20% chance for pixies attacking, do the math on that. You know, it's like almost a perma stun. Okay, okay, yeah, Mirage is God tier actually, and Fairy Soul. This goes into C tier. You know, it's just a heal. You know, it pairs really well with the Blade Singers, but it's what else? It's just like a weak unit heal. How much health? It's like 150 health is pretty good, but like it's not like amazing. You know, it's not like gonna be heavily affecting things much. Now into Eridan, an interesting one. Nimble Fencer goes into A tier, makes him one of the best in the best in the game for stalling easily. It's like it's not as good just because you can't activate against Twilight Golems. I think it can activate. I don't know how it activates against. It can't activate against Shadow Champions, but it's still really good for letting him stall. So, Arrow Volley. This hot take also goes into A tier. Like when you use like it's just an insane amount of DPS when you like do the math on it. It's a really high amount. So with his low DPS, it just lets him Porcupine, Porcupine, Porcupine. I don't know about this one honestly. Like whenever I'm using Eridan, I don't see this getting a lot of use. And especially it's good for unarmored enemies, but the problem is this tends to get used on armored enemies a lot, like big tanky enemies that are in the front and are surviving longer. So it doesn't really get that much. Well, doesn't it? It adds true damage, I think. That's true damage, I believe. Let me just make sure. But bonus damage. Okay, we're just gonna say it deals true damage. B tier. Okay, B tier. I think is a solid ranking for it. I don't think it's that bad. You know, it's not amazing either. Double strike. This is either C tier or D tier for me. I'm gonna say C tier just because it's better than Tetsubo Storm because it has a low this skill because it has a low cooldown, but the damage it's adding is not very good. Like especially when you have him in combat with like Avengers or Shadow Spitters or sorry Dark Spitters, it just doesn't deal a lot of damage against them because they have armor. So this here spell, Arrow Storm, C tier. It's a little too spread out in my opinion. So I don't think it gets a lot of damage off. Now we're into Lilith. Resurrection. Dude, like, come on. It's pretty much this. And while it does get a better payout, you're trying to kill her for the chance of maybe something happening. And I don't think that's a very good thing. Um, now, Bop, Bop, Reaper's Harvest, and Soul Eater. This might be a hot take for me. But when you pair these two skills together, you can get insanely high damage. Or the one and only orb. He taught me that this the if she gets the damage from a harasser, from just a regular Twilight harasser, the damage on the skill goes from 330 to 660. I that is a lot of damage. Even if you're only really going to be able to use it like once or twice when you have this, it's still a lot of damage. So I think that gets it into A tier. Ring of Fire, I think this is B tier. It's again it's high amount of true damage for for the AoE, but it's still like over a long course of time, so I don't think it's very good. Hero Spell, Heavenly Chaos. I think it's C tier. You know, it's unreliable, so it doesn't get into B tier. But like like the Meteor is a clear cut option, but when you get the Angels, you're not like, oh no, no, I got the Angels, no. You know, like you're still getting use from this skill. So I think it's C tier. Now we're on to Lyn. Hex Fury, A tier. With her curses, it's pretty good. I'm gonna put Charm of Misfortune, I'm gonna put this in B tier. Just lets her tank more, you know? It's on a low chance. So even if it does boost her EHP a lot, Roast BRM, yeah, nice one. It's not bad, you know? What is this? This is like I forgot the name of this curse. It was like weakening curse or something. Like slow curse or whatever. Something stupid. Try like curse of despair. Okay. I'm gonna put this in B tier. I think it's a really reliable AoE slow. Like what is it? Like 18 seconds, and it slows them for 8 seconds. It's pretty reliable. Like for an eight, it slows them for 8 seconds. It's a long time. This skill, it's only really good when you want to put her into melee combat to activate Hex Fury. Other than that, you're not getting a ton of use from this thing. Like it's good, but you don't get a lot of it. Like you don't get the armor. You don't get the armor pierce value from Lyn herself because Hex Fury does true damage. So like what are you gonna do with that? This is also amazing when you pair it with Hex Fury because it's controlled. So, oh. Prince Venus. Um, Super right. B tier. It's great. He has 400 health and he has 65% armor. And what do you know? He has like 200 health. He has like it heals him 260 health every like 20 something second. Like every like what like 20 seconds. It's like an 18-second cooldown. I think. Hold on. So like he's all like using the skill, he's gonna heal up really reliably, and it makes him, if not one of the best stallers in the game for like what it lets him stall against like Twilight Golems and Shadow champions really reliably. So I think it goes into B tier. Celebrity, I think this also goes into B tier. It's like a 5 second stun on 9 enemies. In every way, it is better than King's Roy. Yeah. Avenger, this goes into D tier. Like again, like overall DPS, pretty nice. Single target damage, shit. Mighty, this is the tough one for me because for a hero that has no damage, this skill is pretty reliable. The damage range is pretty wide, but it's still a solid amount of true damage. So I think again, like it's the same thing with Doomspin, up in Doomspin right here. For like if this was on any other hero, it would be bad. But for a hero with no damage, this does help him out quite a bit. Sworn Defenders, people think it's the worst hero spell in the game. I think it's better than Lion's Roar. I personally think it's better than not Lion, than the Guardian Lions, but it's still in D tier. I think just because of how prevalent like Dark Spitters, like how prevalent Dark Spitters and fuck what are the Driders can be. I don't think it's very good, but like it's amazing for the ogre levels because it can just stall against all the things. It's really good for Dirtle Outskirts because again, it's really able to stall against any of the sub lanes and lets you support them really well. So I still think D tier is little C tier. I would like it, but I think D tier is the most accurate representation. Resurrex. Changeling. No, not changeling. This is a ragification. C tier. Hello. Did my did my stream disconnect? Apparently my stream disconnected. Did my stream disconnect, y'all? It didn't like teleport to place, right? Okay, I'm sure it didn't. You guys can hear. Hold on. You guys can hear me. Okay, yeah, I can hear me. Um, Angry Gnome. I don't know how they made this. I don't know how this skill got okayed. Like, I think it is the worst skill in the entire game for pure single target true damage. It is 75 to 135. That's like what 210 does 105 true damage every 17 seconds. That is worse. That is a worse. I think that's a worse DPS than Tiger Style. I'm not exaggerating. Like, it's not good at all. Especially for like you can't control it because it's a range skill. It's like sure it adds DPS, but like it adds no DPS. Oh, I forgot. I forgot to talk about Hemi hair. It's just the DPS is pretty good honestly, but it's just like it's still a little bit too spread out, a little bit too high of a cooldown, like 35 seconds. Hammer time, I'm putting in D tier as well. I don't care what you guys say. It's too goddamn unreliable. Like it moves randomly. You get like, oh boy, I really hope he stuns these enemies, and then he just starts moving around away from the enemies. I lose a nerve correct. I lose a nerve connection. Oh my! I just lost a fucking nerve connection. Okay, whatever. Ragification. This is a tough changeling. This is a tough one for me because I historically do not like rags and rags at all. But I think this is a C tier skill. I think I think just because of how much like it can changeling like 8 enemies like especially in endless mode where you've got like hordes of enemies, it can be pretty reliable. So I think C tier is fair. Then we've got Rickson, Eldritch Heal, A tier. It lets him be the tankiest fucking hero in Origins. You know, not much else to say about it. I believe this is Eldritch Blade. Um, this is a very good skill. It can like deal over like 700 overall true damage, which I think is very good. Yeah, Eldritch Blade, yeah, very good. So, but it does interrupt his main attack, but it has an instinctual chance, but it has true damage, but it's a shame. You know, it's insane. Ultra Slash, I'm gonna put this in C tier, just because it's there. You know, it's not bad, but like the damage it adds is pretty unreliable. It's like we see this, 150 average per target, but it's like 75 to 225. That's a pretty big damage range. Overall, it's not very useful. So C tier. Vindicator, A tier. I mean, this is the only insta kill in the game, I think, that can insta kill the Twilight Golems and the Shadow Champions. You should stay here, Darth Plague, and the Shadow Champions. You know, insane. It's great, and it lets you like get a targeted heal for Rexon. You can just put him here, like oh he's low health. I gotta insta kill this enemy near him, heal him full health, and you can keep tanking. You know, it's great. Now we're on to Fesnin. Right against Psycho Slayer. This is Soul Drain. No, not Soul Drain. It's like Soul Fire or something. I don't know. This goes into A tier. Again, it's still a he's still a hero with the still on a hero with a teleport. You know, it's still great when you micro it right. And even but like unlike Branch Ball, you can still get value from it when it targets like lower health enemies, you know? Like you can kill like 20 fucking gnolls with it. It's crazy. So I'm gonna put this in A tier. Uh this bad boy, the cage. I call this the cage B tier. Not bad, you know. It's pretty solid. Um, damn, I've been with fucking Origins for so long. It's pretty good. Still only got one hero left. It's just like a stun, you know. The overall DPS it has is actually it's actually noticeable sometimes, but it's not like noticeable enough to be reliable for the damage. It's reliable for the stun though. Nova, Arcane Nova. I was heavily underrating this skill. I think when you micro it right with this teleport, you can get insane amounts of disruption with it in the enemies. The damage isn't amazing, but it's still like low cooldown, spam it, and insane AoE, insane slow, you know? Dark Pact. This is again an easy S tier. I don't see. It's just the only weakness it has is 120-second cooldown. Even with that cooldown, it still does an insane amount of damage. You can still stall for an insanely amount of time. For an insane amount of time. I don't see how this wouldn't be S tier. Zin. This is Daring Strike. C tier. It's both bad and it's good because like you can like while it does target the strongest enemy on the map. What if you want to use it to target a weaker enemy to finish them off? You know, you can't do that. It's not the DPS it overall has as well isn't very good, but it's you know it's something. So C tier. Mighty Inspire C tier. Again, it does pair well with the Blade Singers and the I'm gonna say it pairs well with the 88 Rune Bears. And and especially for Blade Singers when you have the best skill in the game, edge mastery, it does add up to a lot of damage. So I think C tier is fair for it. Mind over body is so fucking ass. I don't see how anybody would like this skill. I don't see how. Um, it's it is inferior to Sibrite in every single way. You know, it doesn't stun. It doesn't like it heals him for less. It doesn't. It heals like over 6 seconds, which is even worse. And Zin already has shitty defensive stats, so like, you know, what's the point? This also goes. The only reason I'm putting this in D tier, not F tier, is because I have root spikes in D tier, and it's still AOE. You know, you can still get some use from it, but it's still no F tier. The AOE is it's so much worse than root spikes. I think it's just like it's still one of the worst skills in the series. So F tier. This skill, I'm gonna put this in B tier. The damage overall is pretty nice, but again, it's the same problem as Sapphire Fangs, where it has to be on an isolated target, or else the damage it's going to be adding per target is not good. It's still spammy though, so it's not terrible, but I don't think it's very. I personally don't like the skill. I don't think it's very good. Two more fucking games. Spider Bite. BT. I'm gonna put this in. This is a tough one for me because compared to every other insta kill in the series, it's awful. You know, it is easily the worst insta kill in the series by far. It's got like it has a higher cooldown than most other insta kills. It's got even with it being melee, it can take well up to over 20 seconds just for it to kill the enemy. Like it's like, and if that enemy gets stalled for any amount of time, if that enemy takes any amount of outside damage, you lose value. You know, you've immediately lost value, and that damage is wasted. Just because like even if you do, there are still going to be situations where the damage is gonna get wasted on them, and I don't think it's very good because of that. This skill I'm just gonna put in B tier because it synergizes with Spider Bite well. Um, let's see. This is a tough one for me. I don't like this skill very much. This is slight of a bias for me, but I don't like compared to other damage skills. Got a worse CPS. It's only good for applying Quiver of Sorrow, but Quiver of Sorrow is only good against like war elephants, and not it's not really good, especially considering like Azur like it's just I don't like these guys. Like this might be an L take for me, but this skill dealing low damage, coupled with this skill not really doing anything, it's just C tier. Again, I'm gonna say the same thing for Toxic Rain. um, compared to every other compared to Jigu's Ice Zone, it has the worst. It's inferior. If Ice Zone was fixed, it would this skill would just be inferior to it in every way. So, but because it is in C tier. Now we're on to Bearsad. Conflagration. I'm gonna I know I have Blazing Breath in C tier, but Conflagration is just worse. It has like twice the cooldown, it has like half the DPS, and it's still in a low AoE. Even if it's overtime, it's like especially because it's overtime, it's not gonna be doing a lot for you. So I think D tier. Here's the Dragon. This is easily an A tier skill. Easily. You can micro the skill really well. It's got a short cooldown. And just because of like a 7 second fear, that's insane. That's like if you think a 7 second, like if you think a 6 second stun is a lot, this is a 7 second fear. This is obviously better because you can control it better. It's got a much larger AOE, but this is still very good for displacement. Golem, this is a really tough one for me. Really tough one for me. I think I'm gonna have to go with my better judgment here. And we move to Vengeance and half the viewers dropped. I'm gonna go with my better judgment here, and I'm gonna put Dragon Spawn in D tier. It's just like 20 seconds. It lasts for 20 seconds. It's a 45-second cooldown. It has bad defensive stats, so it can die easily. It's only really good for clearing up weaker enemies. So I'm gonna put this in D tier. Obliterate, D tier. It has a better. It has good targeting, I think, and it's instant, so it's better than fucking Spider Bite. But I still think it's still not the greatest. So I think B tier is solid. Hellfire, Hellfire, A tier, but barely. I think it's barely an A tier because, well, overall the damage it's adding is really high. It's not as high as Son of the Storm, but it's still great for damage. So I'm gonna put this in A tier. Speaking of Diane, Lord of the Storm, I'm gonna count as a shitty hero step up, useless fucking skill passive. But if I were to actually, I'm gonna rank it. I'm gonna put an A tier. Gives him his insane damage. This skill D tier. It adds a good DPS, but single dark, but like per target, it's not very good. I'm gonna do the same thing for Divine Rain. Divine Rain is not a very good skill. It's just like both these skills, they just add like a little bit. They're not amazing, but they don't add anything. They don't really like add anything significant at all. Supreme Wave. I'm gonna have to put this in A tier. Like, if you look at the AoE is massive, and it's got a 4-second stun. Even if it just stuns enemies and doesn't damages them, I still think it's enough. Keep it in. Like, if like, it's a giant AoE. Like, if you've ever seen it, okay, you've seen it. It's got a giant AoE. Son of the Storm. This skill has the highest DPS of any single hero skill or hero spell in the entire series. The highest. Okay? It's overpowered as fuck. I don't see I don't see why you wouldn't put this in S tier. Okay. This is the best skill in the game for countering elephants, for countering any kind of big enemy. The problem with it, it deals magic damage, but it's still an insane amount of it. So, now we're into my favorite hero, Doom Tank. D tier. The DPS it is better than Trauma Rockets because it can actually damage enemies, but it's still not a lot of damage. But it's still overall good damage. It's better than this, I think. Me per- no, same tier as it. I think it's in the same tier. This skill, however, I'm gonna put this in B tier. Again, it's got a huge AoE. The problem with it though is that it doesn't have a high cooldown. It does have a high cooldown. It's like a 30-second cooldown, I think. But it's still pretty good. Bendables, I think this is an A tier skill. It might sound as a hot take, but I think it like it's 30 free DPS off the bat. Let's just say that 30 free DPS, and it can double with blockers. So because Doom Tank can't block himself, and because of their unique respawn, they can block pretty reliably. I think A tier is easy for them for me. Do I have to say more? It deals like no damage, mega high cooldown, and it has such a long animation that you're like probably you're actually like losing DPS from not basic attacking. This is might be a hot take for me, but it's 2,100 true damage every 40 something seconds. That is insane. Even like when it like kind of bugs out, it's still in like a big AoE. So you can't deny this still does an insane amount of damage. It's not as good as this though, or this, but it's still very good in my book. Okay, this is the hero I didn't want to. I do know. Just gonna go. Okay, permafrost is F tier. F tier permafrost. Look at the like. You gain less value from using the like when you use a skill, like it slows for like a slightly longer amount in a larger AoE, but compared to his basic attack, like you're just losing out on damage, on just free damage. So F tier. This goes into A tier just because it's physical damage. I don't find it being as useful as any other skill. S tier. I if I have to discuss if you I have to discuss these three, you have to play the game more. Okay. Now we're on a Grosh. His death skill. I don't think there's any. This goes into D tier. If I'm like, it doesn't pair well with his slow speed, because then like he uses it and now you have to spend an hour moving him around. And his regen rate isn't bad, but he still has like a high HP, so it's still gonna take a while, especially because of his slow speed. So I can see the vision. They were like, oh, you want us to use the skill and then die, get the value from the skill and then respawn and then do that all over again. But that's retarded. Like, why would you do that? This is a C tier. I meant stupid, by the way. This is C tier. I don't like this skill very much. It's not bad. It's just not great, I think. I don't like B tier. Hold on. It's all riding on the cooldown here. It's really all riding on the cooldown. Um, okay, I don't know why. Whoever added all this, like really. For sure, 20. Yeah, okay. 25 seconds. That's not really great. I don't see. I don't. It's not really great for the damage. The stun is nice, but it's still not great. I don't think it's an amazing skill. So I think I'm gonna. It's still good. Like for it's still all right. It's not. It's like eh. I don't get a lot of use from this skill though. So this skill, however, easy B tier. No, sorry, B tier. Actually, no, A tier I think, because the amount of DPS it adds in an AOE is great. I think it's pretty good compared to other skills, you know. So yeah, and then we have this here spell. This is a tough one for me because I'm gonna say A tier just because it's like a giant. Gonna be giant. Gonna be giant. Giant AoE. Sounds nice. It's pretty good overall. SFAT, Black Plague, C tier. It's just got a really long cooldown. Like even like the damage it does is good. This is like a really long cooldown. If I had like a reduced cooldown but like a slightly reduced damage, I think it'd be better. Polymorph I'm gonna put B or Frog Curse I'm gonna put B tier. You know, I think or sorry, this is not B tier, B tier. I think because it's used while he's moving, you can't really micro it at all. This I don't know how this skill got okayed. Honestly, this is one of the worst skills ever. Like its activation radius is shorter than its actual AOE. Like I don't know how this was okayed at all. It's like it's awful. Who would make this? The Torment Aether. It's insane. You know, the overall DPS, like the overall damage you're adding with this is nuts. Especially in a game where you've got Bone Flingers, Elite Harassers, Ignis Altar, um, Blazing Gem, Wicked Sisters, like it's like especially with like your artillery towers or like Goblin Rings as well, it's really good because all of the enemies that get touched by it take more damage. So it's great. This is a weird one. I'm gonna put this in B tier because it's like it's a lot of true damage, but it's got like a kind of small AOE, got a long cooldown. So I think it's average. It's pretty good. It's all right. This again, Haunted Blade, whatever it's called, worst skill in the game. One of yeah, no, it is the worst skill in the game. It deals magic damage, and then it removes magic resistance. Like, huh? Why would you make that? Like, what was the point? Explosive head, A tier. 4 second cooldown, 100 explosive damage. Even if like the burst damage, it's still got a mega high DPS. You can micro it around easily. A tier. Feared Vengeance. I honestly don't know about the skill. I'm gonna put this in C tier because Jack as a hero is very like glass cannony. You know, he doesn't have good defensive stats. So when you're using this, it doesn't do a lot. So I think I'm just gonna put this in C. It's good like in like melee combat, it does like, you know, add like especially like it's like with the weaker enemies, it does add DPS, but like it's not a noticeable amount at all. Thriller B tier. It's like 4 summoned units. Yeah, I don't want to be like that guy, but like it's still the summoned units overall are pretty good. Like the units themselves have great stats, so I think this is good for B tier. S tier. I don't know what else to say about it. You know, it's like it doesn't 980 true damage, right? And that's a shit ton while moving them down the path. Like even for enemies that don't get caught in it for the full duration, they're still getting a shit ton of damage and displacement from that. Jigu, jigu, jigu. This goes into D tier. It's only good for stone. It's only good for bosses, really. A zone F tier. It really it gets like it bugs out and shits out really easily, so it doesn't really do a lot sometimes. So this is D tier. Ice ball. This is a tough one for me because the damage it adds overall is actually pretty nice. but you can't really like you can't really like control it well because of how shitty Jigu's speed is. So it's just kind of damage. So it's kind of eh. Same for Earth Slam, but like Earth Slam is a giant AoE and it deals considerable amount of damage while stunning all the enemies. So I think this is better in B tier. Frozen Breath. Ooh. This might be again this might be a hot take for me, but I think it's C tier. I think when it's used correctly, it can be pretty nice. But the blind spots and the weakness, yeah, I think just because of the blind spot itself, it has to go into D tier. No, now we're on a Junpei. Splash, I think it's D tier. It's 90 damage. Even like on a 9-second cooldown, it's not very good. You know, it's just kind of there. So it's like D tier. Tidal Wave, I want to put this in B tier. It's next. I'm gonna put this in C tier. It's just like the damage it deals and like the inherent blind spot it has is very amazing. But Courage, Banner of Courage is it's B tier. It's the heal is amazing. You know, it's probably the best healing skill in the series. Because it's good over time. It's good, great uptime. You know, it's like what else do you want from it? This skill, Gaze of the Naga. I'm gonna put this in C tier. The permanent silence can be pretty nice for certain areas, and the slow is also not bad. But it doesn't really do much outside. Like especially in a hero where you want to have him a little bit farther back, it doesn't really add as much as you would like it to. It's better for catching leaks. Feature. It's got great TPS. You know, nothing else to say. Great TPS. It is overtime. It is like over a long time, so it doesn't get into A tier. But I think because it's a lot of DPS added on a low DPS hero, it's B tier. This skill, B tier. It just adds 10 DPS compared to like every other like compared to other damage. It's not great at all. It's like the Dark Confusion as well and the Mist. These are not very good skills at all. Like this, it's not a lot of damage, and also just by virtue of this skill, you can't use skills when you're during transformation. This skill also goes into here. But like just because of this, Margosa is able to be a usable hero. Like she can install against enemies very reliably. Okay, now we're on to Mortimus. Mortimus, Ratland, D tier. Low damage. Small AoE. Nothing else to say about it. This is Fear. It's like the Fear. This is C tier. It's good like when you've got a leak, or when you use them to like a yeah, like a big enemy, but like it's not really that great, you know? It's like one enemy every 20 seconds, you know? Ikaruno Kano. Yeah, I've been spending the last 2 hours on this. I get bored easily. I had nothing to do better to do tonight. Grim Presence now. I'm gonna put this in C tier because you can't easily micro this because of Mortimus's slow speed. But it's still a pretty useful trait to have, just like randomly low, just like the ability to lower resistances. This goes into A tier. This is the sole reason. This is the sole reason he's able to set up choke points so easily because of how like 6 summoned zombies, even if they lose health quickly, you're still gonna have like a solid stream of enemies coming in for you to turn into zombies. Like especially like it does get hard countered on the Anarian stages, I will say, but for like the Chinese stages, it really like for the Mogwai, it's good. I think they can turn it to Mogwais into zombies. It's good for the skeleton, and it's good for the skeleton and dinosaur campaigns because you can, especially for the skeleton one where there and more enemies just keep getting summoned by the necromancers. Pretty solid, and it's all around. It's a great skill. You know, it's the sole reason my Mortimus is as good as he is. Then his hero spell. I don't think it's amazing. When it's placed right, this thing can be great. But one slight AI shit up, like if it goes to the wrong enemy, if it goes to like a badly placed enemy, you're losing out on so much value. So I think just because of that, it can't go into A tier. You know, if you could move it around like you could like commandors in Alliance, I think it'd be pretty good. Why okay. I was wrong about Isfet skills apparently. Okay, there are two Isfet there are two sets of Isfet skills, so I'm gonna move these all the way down here and ignore them. Now we've got Merglin. Tar Maker Easy S. Where the fuck did it go? Where did Tar Maker go? Oh my god, where did it go? Okay, there it is. Easy S tier. It's like a passive. It's just passive damage, you know. You can micro her like pairs really well with like Elite Rathers, Blazing Gem, especially Blazing Gem and what consists of especially. It's really good for those. You know, it's just all around great skill to have. Blood Pool, I think it's called Lava Magma Pool. B tier. It's a small AoE, but when you time the AoE, like when like for the Anurian stages, I think it's best where there's densely packed enemies or big enemies that can walk over it easily. You know, it does add a pretty good amount of DPS. Infernal Heat, this is D tier for me, honestly. Like compared to other AoE skills, like the damage is low, it's over a long ass time, and it's just not really that worth, even on the low cooldown. Like this is like Eruption or whatever it's called, or insta kill. I'm gonna put this in B tier. I think it's still an insta kill, which is pretty good, but it does kind of have bad targeting, so I'm gonna keep this. Yeah, I think in B tier. I think it's good. It's better than it's still better than Ozarus. Still better than a Spider Bite. Volcanic Barrage. S tier. It's not. I feel like it does get a bit overrated compared to like. It does get a bit overrated just because even if it is an AoE insta kill, in Vengeance like AoE is so hard to come by. Like packed grouped up enemies are really hard to come by. So you lose out on so much value compared to every other game. You know. I got Olak. This A tier. It's great skill. Low cooldown. This place is like 10 enemies. It's pretty far down the path. You could any big enemy you can perma stall pretty much. Great. The rest of it shit. C tier. I'm like this. Okay, this is D tier. It's got really bad targeting. The damage is really high. You know, it's just not good. Eruption, it's okay. You know, I think these other two skills, I think they're okay. Like this being able to activate while you're moving, I think it's actually a good trait because when you're moving, you can move him somewhere, he uses it, and then you can move him back. These two skills, this adds a good amount of DPS overall, but it's not really good for like single target. The DPS it adds overall is meh. It's it's just not a great skill. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like it. It's not very good. Like the damage it does isn't very good, especially for how like it's over time. You know. I'm gonna say it's C tier. Trauma. Hero Scalp B tier or yeah B tier. It's high damage, right? When you want to use it against big enemies, they aren't going to be taking as much damage, you know, as they really should be. And then for its other skills, F tier, it's a 2 sec. Wait, hold on. I think it's like a 3 second stun. And even if it is like an infinite amount of enemies, it's still like on a 25 second cooldown. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 25. That's terrible. Boombot's also terrible. Yeah, it's like it's shit DPS. Even like it's just shit DPS. Even compared to Bolin's mines, like it's not good. Like when you try to like add them up, they don't. You can't get as many mines built up as Bolin can, and they tend to activate early, so you can't get enough like a lot of burst damage. This goes into D tier. This would go into C tier if it didn't have this glitch where it would randomly attack target. Actually, no, this stays in D tier either way, just because it still spreads out like heat missiles. So but like it's got this glitch where it sometimes doesn't even damage enemies, which sucks. But you know, it's whatever. Nitro Rush. This might be hot take, but I'd put it in C tier. I think it gives with Nitro Rush. Shaman's DPS is actually pretty good, and it's in an AOE, so his damage is an AOE. So I think it's still serviceable. It's still a serviceable skill, but his other skills are pretty shit. Into the Warmongers also another hot take for me. Another hot take. I think this is D tier, not F tier. It adds like it like adds like a ton of DPS overall. I think it's like a 20 something DPS, which is still pretty high. Even like when you don't use them for stalling, you just use them for DPS instead, you know? Still pretty solid. Um D tier. Look at this. It has the same exact DPS as Lethal Strike, but deals physical damage and does cannon to kill. Like, it's not very good at all, you know? Just kind of there. This is all right. Well, it's 4 second. 4 second stun is pretty rare, so it's pretty good. But it's limited on the amount of enemies it can target, which is bad. But got a short cooldown, so I think it's not terrible. Duelist, another D tier. Don't think it's very good. Like the immediate damage it adds is good. Like it adds damage the second you go and put him in a melee combat, but you don't get use from the damage beyond that at all, really. Because Varric has bad melee defense, like bad defensive stats. So there's not really many enemies that you can put him in combat with where you're able to get the max amount of DPS from it, and she'll live, or the enemy lives. You know, it's not good. This is a tough. I'm gonna put this in C tier. There's a lot of towers in Vengeance that can support your barracks, like Furnace, Rhyme Forest, Orc Shaman. You know, there's a Mausoleum. A lot of towers in this game that can support units, and having a low cooldown, good uptime, 2 units. I don't think it's that bad. You know, I don't think it's a terrible skill. Finally, we're on to Alliance. Fucking finally. Now we're into Anya. Vampiric Claws is easy A tier. Lets her infinitely stall against every single enemy in Alliance besides the bosses. Then we've got Mist, C tier. I'm gonna put all of these. I'm gonna put these two skills in C tier. Actually, no, I'm gonna put Kimbo's. What is it called? It's like Tornado Storm, whatever, in C tier. It's not. It's the DPS. It's good. I think it's for an AOE skill. It's good compared to other heroes in this game. This skill, the overall DPS is nice. Single target DPS is still bad though, so I think it's C tier is fair. That's D tier. Again, this skill does have a high overall DPS, but you don't see that compared. Like you see that way less of the skill, just because there's a lot of times where the bats won't go into combat sometimes, so it's not really good. This skill I'm gonna put in as B tier. It's set. It should deal true damage. If it's true damage, then it's A tier. But without true damage, I think it's B tier, just because it deals physical damage. So a lot of art like against abominations and flesh golems, flesh behemoths. It's not very good. Now we're in the Broden. Carpet bombing. I think this is B tier. Skill is pretty solid. You know, it's good amount of AOE damage. Nothing amazing. Nothing outstanding though. This goes into C tier. It's just a 2 second stun. Slow afterwards is kind of just there. I don't really see myself being like, oh boy, it's slow. You know, I see myself being like, oh great, it's stunned for a little bit. You know, so I don't think it's amazing. Do I have to say anything? Like it's 100 over 100 average damage every 12 seconds on a flying hero. That is dog shit. Especially when it like over 2.5 seconds. Like it's like dog shit doggy dog shitty shit. You know. Hunting. Okay, I'm gonna put hunting dive and birds of prey into A tier. Um, they both have really good DPSs. And unlike Cosmere's insta-kill, this can actually insta-kill any enemy under 600 health, except for mini bosses, but it's still insanely good for executing Vile Spawners, good for executing Abominations, the Blade Claws, and Spitter. It's just a great skill overall. And this just has a mega high DPS, you know, like 30 something. This has a higher DPS than a lot of single target skills in other games. And in the other games, which says a lot. Crimson. Heart Seekers. I'm gonna put this in C tier. It's just DPS. That's all it is. All it is just DPS tacked on. Inner Beast. This is a tough one for me. I'm gonna put this in D tier, just due to how unreliable it is to activate. You know, at least by A tier. Or this is a tough one for me. I'm gonna put this in B tier. No, an A tier. It's just really high true damage. overall. This goes into D tier as well, though. These two skills contradict with themselves. I don't know why Ironhide did that, but they just do. And I don't like that. And like even if the skill's an insta kill, I can only insta kill like what 2 enemies in the third area. You're not getting a lot of value from this. So I think it's D tier. And this A tier. You know, slows enemies, AoE true damage. You know, what's something like Cosmere now. Garnet Tomb. I'm gonna put this in C tier. I don't think it can only insta kill enemies under 600 max health. So in the third area, that's just level 1 scourges, um, husks, and glarelings. But the AoE damage it adds, it's actually pretty usable for this game. I actually find myself getting a lot more use from the AoE damage on this skill sometimes than I do the actual insta kill. So I think it's pretty solid. It's not bad. Prismatic shards. It is the single best hero skill in Alliance. What is this skill? This is not Garnet Tomb. This is paralyzing. No, this is paralyzing breath. I still think it's C tier. It's just an AoE stun. This is Garnet Tomb. Garnet Tomb is also C tier. Power conduit. Hello? Okay, I'm back. Okay. I'm finally back, y'all. Sorry. Where were we? Yeah, Shield of this Blessing of Retribution. Great. Synergizes with everything, any barracks, reinforcements, heroes. It can actually add a considerable amount of DPS when you've got Abominations and Behemoths coming up. But it's still not amazing. It's got a low cooldown. It's like 25-second cooldown. This also goes into A tier. This goes in A tier. High amount of true damage, high burst true damage, 2-second stun. It's got a high cooldown, so it's not amazing, but it's still pretty great, I'd say. Hero spell. S tier. Again, one of the highest DPS skills It is single target damage, but it's still really good. Like it's stunned. Like the stun is like for 5 seconds while dealing. It just melts them. Now we're on to Nairu. Sentinel Wisps. B tier. Damage to that is actually pretty solid. You know, it's not bad. It's nothing exceptional, but it's still pretty good. You know, because it's magic damage. The Duke. Hi. Go to sleep. I'm just kidding. Verdant Blast, I think is also A tier. It's again short cooldown, and that's it's like a bit of a high cooldown, but it still has a great DPS, I'd say. Actually, no, I'm gonna put this in B tier, just because I think stream chats. Yeah, well, not my problem. I think it's B tier just because it has Olok targeting, Vengeance L, so it's not really that good. Sometimes it can like miss a lot. Easy A tier. I don't know, like it's insane. It's a really good amount of damage, really good amount of heals. The heals to death is insane, and I can't I can't speak. Dude, okay. Do I have to pull up a picture of your haircut on stream, Viduk? Do I have to do that? Well, I'll do it. I'll do it, no balls. And trust me, I have no balls. Let me find the photo right now. Hold on. Say I'm saving the image to my computer as we speak. It's over for you. So nah, I'm not mean. I would never do that. Your haircut is fine. Um, yep. I'm gonna put this in C tier because it does let your allies tank against behemoths and blade claws really well. But that's all it does. You know, all it is behemoth, blade claw, tanking. Those are the only like threatening enemies so far. This is another A tier. I think it's great. You know, high AOE, high damage. The problem with it is that sometimes the damage kind of bugs and it doesn't damage enemies for the first. I'm so sorry for that one. Um, yeah. Okay. As I was saying, all of Onagra skills are kind of mid, but Tar Bomb, I think it's the best out of these three. You know, I think it's a very reliable slow. It does have like shitty artillery targeting where it targets ahead, but I still think it's good damage. I still think the slow is pretty useful. I'm gonna give this a B tier. I think without the star upgrade that slows the slowing star upgrade, this skill goes down into D tier. I think it has such a shitty range. Like the range is too big. Where you have to place it like farther back than you'd want, like much farther back than you than where you want to hit it, and then you need to stall enemies there, or else enemies walk by and it just keeps targeting all these random enemies. You know, it's pretty bad. Raylan, breakable. I'm gonna put Unbreakable and Inspire Fear in D tier and B tier. They're both solid. Like they're both let her tank for longer. They both the skill's great for the stun, but they both have really high cooldowns. So I still think I'm gonna. Yeah, actually no, they're pretty solid. Brutal Strike. This goes into A tier. I think it's slightly better than Celestial Judgment. It has a higher DPS and it's melee, so it does better for micro. Onslaught B tier as well. It's a pretty good increase to overall DPS and it's AOE. So while you're not getting like a ton of damage from it, it's still AOE. Dark Knight also A tier. It's pretty much just a third hero. Like every once in a while. It does have a high cooldown, like it lasts for 20 seconds, 60-second cooldown. It's not like 60 seconds, it's more like what is 20% of 60? No, yeah, what is 20% of 60? That's like 12 seconds. So it's 48-second cooldown. So it's pretty no, it's no 10%. Yeah, so 54-second cooldown. It's pretty not bad. It's pretty good for the stalling it adds. Like again, pretty much a third extra hero. Then we've got Therian. D tier. Terrible hero skill. It's like time lapse from the High Elven Mage, but still bad. Because while it is controlled, it's still time lapse. It's still making enemies invincible for 8 seconds. It can save you, but it's still not great. Vessel Distortion, D tier. It's just a Here, it's just like a tower buff. It's not great. Astral Reflection and Black Aegis. No, Black Aegis. No, okay. So Astral Reflection goes into C tier. Black Aegis goes into B tier. This skill, the damage can get wasted a lot of the time when the clone goes into melee combat, but if you get lucky enough, it can be pretty solid. This skill, the AoE damage it has is actually pretty serviceable compared to other AoE skills, and it has a bonus of shielding an ally too. So while the timing can get messed up, when you use it on like an allied hero like Vesper or Grimson, it can be pretty good. Void Rift goes into A tier. It's great, one of the best AoE skills in this game. It's like high overall damage. It's like it's got a huge AoE, and like the damage I'm pretty sure is bugged, and it deals more than like what it should say. It deals a lot of damage overall, so great skill. Whereas, Men at Work, D tier, D tier. These skills both fucking suck, dude. Like the damage on this skill is terrible for an AoE damaging skill, and this skill like the units here just die quickly. Even even in this game where there's not a lot of high damage enemies, they still die really easily. And like this skill, okay, let me compare the skill to Power Slam real quick. This deals an average of 75 damage. This deals an average of 78 damage. This has a 20. They both have 20-second cooldown. This does not stun at all. This stuns for 1 second. This is a strictly better version. Power Slam is a strictly better version of Demolition Man. This goes into C tier. These two go into C tier. Um, actually no. Actually, I'm hot take putting this in the B tier. This skill displaces Torres, which just sucks. But it's got a high DPS, so I think it's still enough to keep it out of D tier. This skill, however, it's unique. It lets Torres do his infinite stall, which I think is pretty useful. And then Wrecking Ball, I'm gonna put into B tier as well, because while the damage is all right, it's physical damage, but it's still good amount of damage, and it has a 2 second stun as well, which is pretty solid, I'd say. I want to Vesper, the most balanced hero. Like, I want to Vesper, the most balanced hero in the game. B tier, you know, solid damage, 1 second stun. It's great for blinkers, or for void blinkers. Blink. Ricochet. I'm gonna put this in D tier. I don't think it's very good. Um, damage is like it's got an overall good DPS, but it's still not great for single target. Martial Flirt. This might be a hot take. This has the same exact DPS. No, it's got a 1 second higher cooldown than uh aim slashes, but it's an alliance, and it just makes us really good for dealing with um anything really, for especially for evolving scourges, file spawners, and what do they call the spitters. It's great, A tier. Compared to other skills at least. These two, I'm gonna put these two in C tier. This skill has a great DPS, but you have to get like enemies below. You have to get him below 40% health consistently. That can be a bit of an issue, and it doesn't activate on Blade Claw on AOE damage. So like for like Blade Claw Horrors and Behemoths, the only enemies that can really bring him to a low enough health reliably, you have to put him in combat against them, then move him into like a fucking Husk or Glareling, and then he'll activate it. But it's still not bad. This skill, compared to other AoE damage skills, it's not the greatest. Deals physical damage, I'm pretty sure. And it is a little bit spread out, but it's still serviceable, It's not amazing, but it's not bad. Iron Uppercut, I think, is the worst skill in the entirety of Alliance. And might be no, it's not worse than Haunted Blade or Hermit Frost or this, but it's still ass. It can, in the second area, the same as Grimson's insta-kill, it can only insta-kill Flarelings and Husks. But this skill at least does something for Grimson, and at least heals him. This does nothing. And it's still got this, you're always gonna be using this for the heal rather than it killing the enemy. This skill's only use is the insta-kill, and it sucks. So F tier. Power Slam, ooh. The AoE is kind of weird and it's not reliable, so I think this is D tier. but it is stat wise. Actually, I'm gonna put this up here just because stat wise it is identical. It is better than Power Slam, but because of the unreliable AOE, I think it's not as good as Power Slam. This skill feature, it's got a big damage range, but it's still overall gonna have a high amount of damage no matter what. Like 36 to 108, average of like 75 or whatever, plus 7 or like 80, plus you're getting the extra 48 burn damage no matter what. So that's still a great damage, great amount of DPS it adds. A tier, you know, the skill has an insanely wide AOE. It slows enemies afterwards, and it's only got a 25-second cooldown. So I think compared to other, this is again another one of the prismatic shards, void rift, and this skill, some of the best skills in the game, I think. And then hero spell. The skill is again amazing. Got a giant AOE. It goes like all the way down the path. It deals good damage, you know. The actual damage per target is like 260. It says it's wrong in the actual hero thing. So, but this is still a great hero skill. It especially pairs well with the slow, because you're slowing enemies, and then it goes through and damages them all. So it's just like great for crowd control in general, and it's one of the best hero spells in Alliance. I honestly might put this. I'm actually gonna put this in S tier actually, just because of how bonkers the AOE is. So finally, this is my full hero